Is there such a thing as Islamophobia? If by Islamophobia you mean Americans who have no idea what Islam is, have never met a Muslim, have no idea even what the percentage of Muslims are in America, and yet think that Muslims are endangering America, American Muslims are endangering America, and that you cannot be a good Muslim and be a good American. Well, yes, this is nothing new to American history. In 1830, we had the anti-Masonic Party. They thought that the Masons, the people who run around with funny hats or something like that, the Masons were taking over America. And then in the 1850s, we had the Know Nothing Party, which was an anti-Catholic party. And if it hadn't been for the Civil War, I think they would have been much more powerful. And then for most of the late 19th century, Catholics, there was a strong anti-Catholic feeling amongst Republicans. So if you think about Islamophobia, I'm going to give you 3 comments that I think are not Islamophobic. So the first one would be something that I would imagine something like Sam Harris, the famous atheist, would say. There is no God. A religion is harmful to the degree it inculcates strong belief in a distinct God. Episcopalians are innocuous. Islam is more prone to be dangerous. So Episcopalians, I would imagine half of Episcopalians have just trouble believing in the divinity of the Christ. How many Episcopalians does it take to change a light bulb? 3. 1 to call the electrician, 1 to make martinis, and the 3rd one to complain about how much better the old one was than the new one. Why do Episcopalians have such bad chess skills? They can't tell their bishops from their queens. I'm Episcopalian, I can tell Episcopalian jokes. Okay, now getting back to this. Sam Harris says Episcopalians aren't going to do anything bad to you because, to be honest with you, they don't believe in God that much. He doesn't like religion at all, by the way. He thinks religion's bad all the time. But if you are an Episcopalian, you're the best kind of religion because you hardly believe in God. And Islam would then be the worst because they're very devout folk, those Muslims are. And so he complains about Islam. That's the one that he would attack the most. I don't think this is Islamophobia. He's not attacking out of ignorance. There are jihadists around the world. I grew up for a couple of years in Indonesia, and I remember the largest Muslim country, and I remember thinking that Muslims were cool. It wasn't any problem, but that was, of course, under Suharto, the dictator. And just recently, 2 years ago, the mayor of Jakarta was put in jail for blasphemy. Wait a minute. You get put in jail for blasphemy? Now, was it a political thing? Of course it is. But the fact that in the largest Muslim country you can be put in jail for blasphemy is a little worrisome. And you don't have to agree with Sam Harris, but he's not an Islamophobe. Again, I don't say you have to believe all these things, but they're not ignorant people. Look at this one. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the only way to the Father. It is our mission to love and engage with Muslims so as to make them Christians. Now, I don't know what evangelicals feel about Muslims. but I would hope that they would say, let's have them migrate to America. It is so much easier to convert a Muslim, I would presume, here in America than in Egypt. If they're here in America, they'll be a bit lost, and we can help them, and we can show love to them, and we can bring them to our house and let them have meals with us and show them the American way, and then we can tell them about Christ. Now, if you go, that's an anti-Muslim because you're attacking Muslims, the answer is no. This is how Christians roll. By the way, that's how Muslims roll. Muslims would like to turn you into a Muslim. Is it anti-Semitic to have Jews for Jesus? I tend to think not. I tend to think, I'm sorry, this is the free market of religion, is that you try to make other people yours. Jehovah's Witnesses love to make people Jehovah's Witnesses. Are they bad folk, those Jehovah's Witnesses, those Mormons? I don't think so. Well, these next people say this. And I didn't say Jehovah's Witnesses, but I'll say it too. Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, evangelicals, Catholics, and Muslims are anti-choice, anti-gay, anti-feminist. We should do as much as we can to delegitimize them in the public square. So, first thing, Jehovah's Witnesses are the most extreme of the anti-choice, anti-gay, anti-feminists. Mormons, evangelicals, then Catholics are actually liberal, and actually Muslims and Catholics are much more liberal than Jehovah's Witnesses. But they're still, Muslims are a little more conservative than Catholics on those beliefs. And you might say, well, and this would be, I presume, a militant feminist would say this. And you might say, well, from a practical stance, since Muslims are only 1% of America, we shouldn't waste our ammunition on delegitimizing them. We should go after the Catholics who've got deep pockets, or the evangelicals who seem to have control of the Republican Party. So let's attack them. And I don't think we should delegitimize anyone, by the way. I don't believe this for a moment. I am a Christian. I don't want to delegitimize me, but it's not Islamophobic. It's not Islamophobic to say we don't believe what you believe, and we are going to attack your beliefs. It's not Islamophobic to say that. This is the market of beliefs, the marketplace of beliefs, and this is why we have free speech, so people can argue this stuff. Again, I feel that last one is the most Islamophobic of the three, because I feel like Islam, and actually let me back up and say, as a Christian, I find Sam Harris to be the farthest off the first one. But I think this is such an important place for atheists in our society. I, as a Christian, want to be engaged with atheists. I love listening to his podcast. I want to hear what they have to say. I don't want to silence them. Why would you want to silence people who disagree with you? It seems odd. Well, that's all I have to say.